Hey, it's Mr. Burgess here. Today we're going to actually change a float in a toilet. And if you've got basic plumbing skills, the best thing to remember is if you have the right kind of suspenders, boost your confidence, one, and two, you don't get plumber's butt when you're down underneath the toilet. You're going to replace the float, and this is the new one. It's adjustable and it's a universal, and it's going to help me change the float that's in there that is hanging up, and I can't adjust it anymore. So we're going to go ahead and take that out and replace it. All right, so the first thing we want to do is you got to find the shut-off valve for the water, and we're going to shut that down before we do anything else. Get that all turned off, and then we're going to come back under here, and we're going to take this off up here. After we turn the water off to make sure that it's all out, we want to empty the tank, so we're going to flush the toilet. Still going to leave a lot of water in there. So now that we flush it, we got to get the water out. So I'm actually going to use my Ryobi Project Vac, which is great. It's a wet dry vac, P32401D. And if you don't have a wet dry vac, you can actually stick a bucket underneath. What I'm going to do is stick this down inside, and we're going to suck out all the water. That'll get the majority of the water out. Okay, so then underneath, got to disconnect the water. I put a towel down in case we have any seepage. Take that off, and we're going to get a little bit of water out of that. And then we're going to take this ring right here off. And if it's a little tight, you can use a pair of adjustable pliers. We'll take that off. Clip for the fill is right here. Take out the old one. You're going to get some water out of it. I'm going to take a rag and wipe down the inside to make sure that there's no debris or anything in where we're going to actually put in the new float. We have our new float. If you turn this left, this is a universal fit. You can adjust the height for your tank. The way you want to do that is when you look at the fill, you see this hole right here. That's where you want to go to and make sure that's below the fill point. And we twist it and lock it in place. There's our line there that we're working off of, and we want that below our fill. Get that new float in there, so now we got to go and do the reverse. Is we're going to go put this nut back on and connect the water. You only need to do these hand tight, so you don't want to over tighten it. But before we turn the water on, we've got to actually put the fill back in and the new tube. So we get those parts. We're going to go ahead and do that in the tank before we turn the water on. So we put our hose on, and so then we have our clip that goes in, and this is what's going to go into your fill. And you want to make sure that you bend it into place to where the water will fill it and go against the actual tube, so it'll cut down on the noise. So we'll put this on, slide that in. It's got the clip on it. So we have that all in. So the next thing we want to do is we'll turn the water back on and see what happens, and see if we need to adjust the float. So what we're doing now is we're actually checking to make sure that we don't overflow and go over top of our fill. And so that worked. So now we've got that in there. We got the replacement. So the next thing is we got that lined up perfect. Let's flush it and see what happens. So there you go. We've just replaced a float in a toilet. It takes about 15 minutes. It took me longer to actually get all the equipment together to do it. The next thing you want to do is you want to check underneath when you hook back up. the actual water and everything. Make sure it's not leaking. Flush it a few times. Make sure that you got no leaks. Come back in an hour or so to check, and everything's good. Always remember, dream, think, design, build, and learn. I'll see you in the shop.